Okay, we're going to get started. I'm Dan Cheadle. I'm one of the general partners in benefithelp.org and also Tape Traffic, which is our umbrella company. And we are just absolutely excited to roll this program out for you guys. This is going to be recorded. And it will also be available on YouTube. So if you need to follow or go back or double check something, you can do so. I highly recommend having a pen and a pad handy as we go through this, because there is a lot of really good information. At certain points, you're going to want to make some notes and jot some things down. But I also want you to relax. This is not complicated. I always like to say that this is at 8th grade level stuff. It's not complicated. It's just really good delving into our marketing. So we're going to get started, and we're going to get into the marketing aspects of what we do. If you are here, it also means that you've already gone through our orientation, you've already looked at the back office, you understand how that works. If not, I'd highly recommend to try and watch that before you go through this. It's just that one works really well if you watch the other one first. So getting into our marketing, as we all know, 40% of the USA has either poor insurance or no insurance. And as you can see here on the screen, for the last 20 years, the health insurance industry has really declined in terms of the quality of insurance. The monthly premiums that people have skyrocketed. Our own daughter is a great example. She has insurance. After having a baby, her insurance went from about $300 to $650, $700 a month. She had to lower her increase her deductible. Her deductible went from $2,000 to $4,000. That is very normal across the United States. Most people that even have good insurance still have high deductibles. So that is where we are at. People are, for the most part, going and getting medical attention, and they're having to pay for pretty much everything out of their pockets. That's where we come in, and we'll get into that in just a second. Again, medical hospitals, medical practices, their collections are at an all-time high. Again, I think that's because the health insurance premiums are skyrocketing. People are paying for things out of their pocket. They're really strapped. And we all have been hearing that your average USA employee is about 2 paychecks away from bankruptcy. If they were out of a job for a month, or maybe out of a job for 2 months, most people are that close on the edge of bankruptcy. So that's how bad this is, and that's why we are really providing a great solution. Hospitals, we don't want you to get overwhelmed. They are very, very welcoming to what we have, because in most cases, hospitals are not wasting any time. They are sending people to collections within a matter of months. If you're not making your payments, if you skip a couple of payments, you can't afford the monthly payments, the hospitals don't have a solution. They are just automatically, kabam, they're sending you to collections. We are now coming in and providing a solution. You don't have to send people to collections. Let's work with them. Let's set their payment low, and the hospital at the same time can still be making money. Employers, they're facing a huge benefit problem as well, because of the last 8 to 10 years of what's been going on in our government and with healthcare and Obamacare and everything else. There are so many employers that have just been racked with higher premiums for their employees, and it is a real problem. But for us, again, here we go again, we're a solution. Benefits is the #1 expense for that employers are cutting. And so employers with 100 or more employees, they're seeing an average of 3 to 4 claims per week. What does that mean for us? Well, that means that as we get into the marketing in this presentation, you're going to see exactly how important that is. What does that mean? It means that we have a huge opportunity to go after doctors' offices, and the employees technically can be doing some of that marketing for us. So marketing to the health providers, let's start there. You'll be getting marketing materials that'll be sent to you, including brochures as a welcoming package as one of our team members. This will be, in, as I said, in a welcoming package, and it'll probably coming to you from our partner, Denefits. Some people think, well, Denefits, isn't it supposed to be benefits? A lot of people are commenting that that's spelled wrong. They actually kind of started out with the dental industry doing this program. I'm not crazy about the name myself, and a lot of people are like, are you sure it's spelled right? But it is correct. It is spelled Denefits. That is our marketing. We're the marketing partner. They're doing a lot of the programming. They're doing a lot of the computerization behind the scenes. When you've already seen your back office, this is all set up through them. But anyways, so back to marketing to the health providers, we can do cold calling. It is a little bit of a challenge, but we do it every day. Even if you stop into 3 or 4 medical practices, I will personally spend an afternoon for 2 or 3 hours, and it doesn't matter. I think we all can agree that no matter what direction you drive your car, you're going to pass a chiropractor, a dentist office, a pediatrician, a small hospital, community hospital, family care. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So you could literally take an afternoon, just take your car and drive. But not only are you passing health practices, but you're also passing employers. But stop in, introduce yourself, give them your card. We can also do telemarketing. When you do telemarketing, you want to ask for the office manager. The pitch is coming up. This is, in other words, you're already probably thinking, well, what do I say? So here's what we do. Is the pitch is easy. Hi, I'm Dan. I'm from benefithelp.org. We're marketing a new financial product to employers in the area, and that will help employees with out-of-pocket health expenses. And you can elaborate there if you want. If you have a very nice office manager and they're nodding their head, you can elaborate and just say things like, hey, we all agree that premiums are getting up there, deductibles are getting up there, people are having a hard time paying out-of-pocket expenses. That's what we do. We work with the employers and the employees to help them. So you're going to start seeing more employees coming in here asking if you do Fiscus Care. That's the name of our product. It is absolutely no cost to your office to get set up. Our product is actually here to help you with cash flow and maintaining your client base. Here, I want to stop here just for a second. This is really important to the provider. They are just as much competitive as any other business or industry, whether it's a chiropractor, a dentist, or even if you're a florist or a coffee shop. Businesses, it's business. They have competition. And so, as a dentist, do I want to see my customer go across the street to another dentist because I'm not providing a financial product that helps them? So they understand this. They understand that it's competition. It's all about hanging on to the patient, hanging on to the employer, the customer. So I'd like to send you a link, a couple of links. One is informative. It's on what we are and who we are. And the other is to set up your account, which takes 5 minutes. There is no credit card needed. It's free. All you need to do is get it set up. And I'm certainly happy to answer any of your questions once you're set up. And so there you go. Once your account is set up, I'd like to stop by and see if you have any questions. And so again, you can already follow along. You can see that this is not complicated. Do you have 10 minutes for next week? And so you could set up a follow-up meeting. We recommend that. Pop back in, see, do you have any questions? Have you had a chance to set up any patients yet? All you need now is the email and send the links. The first link is setting up the video appointment, PowerPoint. We do have, in addition to this, a very, very short video link that we can send them that kind of walks them through getting set up. The second link, of course, is your link to your back office so that when the provider gets their account set up, kabing, it shows up in your back office. You'll see them. And really what's cool is in your back office, as they start to send patients through that are using Fiscus Care, you'll see that show up in your back office. So let's talk about marketing to the employer. Again, this is my fun thing because If you've never heard of the term, The Tail That Wags the Dog, it's a great movie, but there's also a term out there, and the tail that wags the dog. In other words, what's the dog? It's the medical provider, it's the practitioner. And so naturally, we go in to meet with them because they are our primary person we want to talk to and meet with, because they're going to have this Fiscus Care product set up where they can meet with a patient. But the tail, that's the employee. And so we can very easily market to the employer and at the same time get the employee, guess what, to do some of the marketing for us. They can go in with our marketing materials, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. So what do? We go into the employer, we ask for the HR person. They're the person that's usually in charge of really employment in the business, but also benefits and programs. The pitch is very easy. As you see there, we're a new financial benefit for your employees. There's no cost to you or your employees. All your employees are 100% accepted, and 100% out-of-pocket expenses are financed with a payment amount that they choose. So whatever your employees are experiencing out-of-pocket medical expenses, we can finance it for them so that we can lessen their financial load. The employer gets that, because we don't want to say this, and I want to caution you, don't tell the employer, I know you got crappy insurance for employees. That's not a good idea. But they already understand that. So we can just say, look, we know that, and we understand that employees are really struggling with the high cost of premiums and deductibles. That's what we do. And as you know what, the employer, that's all they need to hear. And you've got them. To the left, you're going to see a banner that says notice all employees. When we have the employer on board, and you have them set up, we can ask them, do you have a break room? Most employers that employ 50 to 100 to 200, 300 employees, they have a break room. Some of them have several. And so you may want to be aware that if they have more than one break room, we want to make sure that this poster gets put up. This is a 13 by 19 poster. It goes in the break room, and it lets the employees know, hey, guess what? We've got a new opportunity, a new benefit for you, and it explains some of the different things that they can have available to them as far as covering out-of-pocket expenses. There's also a pocket card that can be given to the employee that can be setting as a supply by this poster in the break room. This is an expense that you will incur in your marketing. It's not much, but everybody has to pay for their own posters. This is not obligated. You don't have to get them. I highly recommend that you do have a small supply of them, including shipping. If you want to just get 25, it's $50 for 25, and that's including shipping. If you're really going to be aggressive in going out and going after employers, which I do recommend, 50 of them, get 50 or 100 of them, and there's the cost, 75 or 100 bucks. That's including shipping. Insert, which we will email to you, or your link for marketing goes into the paycheck. You can print those out yourself from your computer, and it's, I think, 3 up, and so you can cut them and have a supply of 60 or 100 of those to go in. If you're meeting with an employer and they've got 200, 300 employees, you're definitely going to want to have the insert that goes into their paycheck, and we'll show that to you in just a second. The pocket card we've kind of already talked about. Again, marketing to the employer. What you're looking at is what is inserted into the paycheck. This is, on one side, says notice to the employee, and as you can see in red lettering, it says, please bring this form with you to the next doctor appointment. This is how the employee is going to be helping you in your marketing, because there's more than likely, it's impossible for you to go out every day and hit all the different employer or medical providers in the area. But guess what? They walk in with this, and as you'll notice on the right, it says notice to health professional. Your office may already be set up with benefits and providing Fiscus Care financial help to your patients. If this is the case, I think we got a spelling error there. We'll have to correct that. but anyways, it should say, if this is the case, you may disregard this form. If you need to get set up, it should only take about 10 minutes to create your account. You'll need the following link, and there's the link. Now that link, mind you, is your link. We will print these for you. We'll do the graphics with your link, and we'll put that in there and send it to you so that you can have this. We will have to get that link from you, from your back office. We may have to have you send it to us. But once you send that link to us, we'll put it in there, and then we'll resend that back to you so that you have this artwork so that you can just print it off right on your computer. So for example, if I'm going to go out this afternoon and I'm going to do some marketing, I'm not only going to be calling on doctor's offices, I'm going to be calling on everybody. I'm going to call on every employer that I see, especially that's got 50 or 100 employees, or, you know, if I go into an industrial park where they typically will have 100 employees in any one of these industrial parks in a business, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to say, hey, just want to drop by and introduce myself, shake their hand, say I got a great opportunity for you to have for your employees. Doesn't cost you guys anything to get set up. But we just need to help you to help promote this to your employees. I'll give you everything that you need: poster, inserts, and pocket cards, and we're off to the races. And so there you go. So to the lower left, you'll see that that is the pocket card. It's about the size of a business card, but that is what's given to the employee. On one side is the patient side, and then on the other side, again, is the provider side. And again, these are printed with your link. And so my recommendation is, these are business cards, so it's like $35, as you see on the bottom of your screen, $35 for 1,000 of these. I recommend getting 1,000 of these. So when you go in and meet with an employer, if they got 100 employees, leave 100. There you go. You're all set up. So that they can carry these in their pocket, so that when they go to a provider and they need health care, that they can do this. Now, keep in mind, we talked about this before in the very beginning, and this is where things are going to start to come together for you, and it's going to make sense. An employer that has 100 employees, they're going to have an average. Think about this. They're going to have an average of 3 employees that's going to need health or medical attention, or one of their kids who's on the plan may need health care, or the wife, the spouse, or the husband, depending on. And so the employer is going to see an average of 3 health claims per week. Now, this doesn't affect the employer. What this means is that you're going to have an average of 3 medical practitioners or providers that are going to be getting this information with your link. And guess what? They're going to be setting up an account. In some cases, the provider will probably end up calling you, just saying, hey, I've got Steve Jones. He's sitting in front of me. He's got this information. We don't know anything about this. What do we do? Well, let me just give you a real quick synopsis. What you can do if you're talking to the office manager and they're calling you, you just say, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Oh, it's Karen. Okay, Karen, great. Yes, what this is, and I'm sure you probably heard of Care Credit. This really is a much better product than Care Credit because it allows you to set up an account free of charge. There's no cost to you. And it just takes you 5 minutes. Let me email the link to you so you can just click on it. You go, you create your account. Now, the employee, Steve Jones, who's in front of you, you can set him up with his own account where he'll make payments on his out-of-pocket expense. And by the way, Karen, you can set your interest rate at whatever you want. If you want to do 8%, 10%, 15%, you can set your interest rate. But what we like to do is the employee gets to choose their payment amount. So you just have to work with them to see what they can afford each month. If they can afford $50, $80, $90, $100, whatever it is, you work with them on their payment amount, but you get to choose your amount. And so there's some documents in there. And what I'll do, Karen, is why don't you go through the steps of getting them set up. I will do a follow-up call with you later this afternoon, or if you'd like, I could stop by tomorrow, and then we'll just go through things, and we'll just make sure all your questions are answered. Is that okay? Yes. And then you can set up an appointment and just stop in and meet Karen and do a quick follow-up. So as you're out there marketing, you know, it would be nice that you had a business card. Here's business cards again, same price as the pocket card, $35 for 1,000, but well worth having this pocket card. Because it's going to come in handy when you're marketing to the employer. It's nice to be professional and walk in with your business card so that, you know, they have your contact information, or maybe they have new employees that come in to the business and those employees never got this information. The employer is going to get a hold of you and just say, hey, have you got any extra pocket cards? Do you have any extra inserts? We got about 20 new employees that just started this month. And we'd like to get them into the system. Absolutely, I'll swing right by. I'll drop some stuff off to you. So pretty easy. Let's get into some common questions. What is the best way to get started in marketing? And here's the answer, is that once you've started and you've got your business cards, your marketing materials, and you are going to get marketing materials from us as well, like brochures, we recommend going after low-hanging fruit. What is low-hanging fruit? We recommend that you go to carecredit.com. You can put in your own zip code, your own marketing area. You can do any radius you want. I think it goes up to like 75 miles. And so within a 75-mile radius, you can see all of the CareCredit providers that are already set up, from chiropractic to dentist to foot care, podiatrist, pediatrician, the small hospitals, the list goes on. And if they're set up with CareCredit, OMG, you want to go after those people, because CareCredit charges fees to the provider, whether there's claims or not. They are an expense to the provider. We are free, okay? Number one, CareCredit charges up to 29% to the patient or to the employee. We don't. CareCredit tells the employee or the patient what their payment's going to be. We allow them to choose what their payment's going to be. This is big. We do all the collection work, we do all the management, we do all the financial management of everything that we're doing here for the provider. The provider gets an instant payment. So this, again, when CareCredit collects the money, they're collecting the money, and they once a month will send a payment to the doctor for the payments that they've collected. This is really big, folks. Pay attention here. This is one of those little notes that you want to know, is with Fiscus Care and with Denefits, every time the patient makes a payment, and remember, it's electronic, it's automatic debit coming off from their account. When their payment is automatically taken out of their account, it automatically goes right into the doctor's account. And by the way, this is daily. So when Steve Jones makes his payment today, it goes right to the doctor's account. This afternoon, Karen Thompson makes a payment, it goes right to the doctor's account. Every time a payment is made, it electronically goes right into the doctor's account. So it's live, instantaneous. But there's more good news, because guess what? It also goes into your account. Your commission goes right into your bank account every time somebody makes a payment. So this is really big for you as we go forward and you're making your money. All providers with CareCredit in your area have turn downs. They average about 50%. These are clients that we can help. So this is really big. That's low-hanging fruit, and I really challenge you to get out and get all those people nailed down. What about hospitals? Yes, every hospital has bad debt collection issues. Many turn collections over and sell them. Again, we talked about this before. They usually discount about 30% to a collection company. We can manage that, and they can save 30%. Can you imagine this? If a hospital said, we don't have to give up 30% and we can let you manage our collections, the answer is yes. You can keep your 30%. In fact, Mr. John Hospital, guess what? We'll even let you make 14 or 15% interest on the account in addition to us doing the collections for you. We're going to charge 10% on the back end on those payments that are made, but you're getting 14 or 15% back on your payment, and you it's 100% coming back to you. So you're actually going to end up coming out ahead and making money. This is huge for hospitals. Once a doctor office is set up, and how much does it take to follow up? Very little. We recommend about 2 to 3 times per year that you follow up with all of your accounts. I don't care if you've got 100 of them. You know, it's very, very little time to pop in and say, hey, just want to stop and say hi. How are things going? I noticed in your back office, looks like things are clicking along. Any questions I can help you with? No, everything's good. Super. We'll have an awesome weekend. And out the door you go. How long does it take the doctor to get paid once the patient has made their payment? We already answered that. The patient is set up on auto deduct from their account. The doctor and you both get paid instantly. Does my back office dashboard show me activity? Yes, and you can track all your payments as well as new patients and the doctors you have. By the way, this is daily. Every time a doctor patient goes into your system, you'll see them in your back office. What is my income potential? It's unlimited. You get paid 1% every time a payment is made. In every state, there are billions of unpaid medical bills. Wisconsin hospitals reported 1.1 billion in bad debt in uncollected medical bills just in 2017, which was up, what is that? 14%. So people, this is absolutely huge. 1.1 billion in uncollected bills just in one state in 1 year. That's huge. And we can go after that. We can work with those hospitals to go after that. So what do premiums look like in the last couple of years? Well, there's a little chart to the right. You can see just for yourself. These are actual numbers that are produced from 2014 to 2018. What is that? Looks like almost doubled in monthly premiums, going up fast. See the chart to the right. How does high premiums affect our marketing? With the rising cost of premiums, employees are raising their deductibles to over $2,000 to $6,000 per year. No longer do people have the confidence that they can go to the doctor and pay their bills. So people are holding back on procedures, on medical care, because they just don't have the money, the out-of-pocket. So here these people have medical insurance, but they don't have the money to even cover their deductibles. So this is a really a growing problem. What employers are good to go after for marketing? We recommend 30 to 300 employees. Industrial parks are a great place to start. Service type businesses like larger, like carpet cleaning companies, even restaurants are great. They have 40, 50 employees. So those are all good ones to go after. Do I have a territory or boundary? No, you can go anywhere in the US, but it's a good idea to focus on your own market too. We have a lot of marketing directors in our business that are part of Tape Traffic, and they do have a protected territory with this program, which is typically a county, but that's also tied in with our other products. But technically speaking, even those marketing directors can go after other businesses. But typically, if you're working a county, that's a big market right there. There's plenty of business just in one county. This chart here, deductibles, shows what's happened to deductibles since 2004 to 2014. We're not going to go into all the details here, but you can just kind of see that insurance now, because of deductibles, is covering about 58% of the claim on average. Think about that just for a second. This is provided by Kaiser Health System Tracker. It's showing the difference between deductibles and the amount of insurance that's covered. 58% of your insurance is what is covering your claims. So that means that well over 40 or 45% of all your claims you're paying for out of your pocket. That's why we are so important. What kind of marketing support can I expect? We offer team phone calls, weekly one-on-one consulting. There's no charge. We will talk to you guys anytime you have a question, anytime you're in a situation. If you're going into a meeting and you have a quick, you want to do a quick check-in with us or a question, just give us a call. Both Glenn and I are available to talk to you. Are there any employees that don't get approved for Fiscus Care? Great question. The only possible turn down is if they don't have a job and they don't have a bank account, because then they don't have any way to make payments. But basically anybody that's employed and anybody that has a bank account gets approved. So here's a few other important points to remember. There is no cost to the doctor office to set up. There's no cost to the employer to promote employees. We provide marketing materials, but you will want to get business cards, poster, and pocket cards. Those are important things that you want to have. It's just really good to be prepared. Professional attire is very important. What does that mean? I typically don't like the idea of going in with jeans on and a pair of tennis shoes. I really think you want to just, I'm not saying you got to wear a tie if you're a gentleman, but throw on a suit coat, a nice shirt. It's just good to look professional. We're going into a professional environment with doctors and care providers that are used to every day seeing people come in professional attire. So we want to look appropriate. Be early for appointments, never late. Set a goal for 50 offices set up in 6 months. That is 2 per week. Guys, you could do that in a day if you really wanted to. You could set up 2 offices a day. This is really not difficult. Once you get into working this business, you'll see that it's really, you just have to develop contacts and develop lists and work a market area. We kind of talked about that a little bit. 50 offices will pay you a residual income of $50,000 to $100,000 a year. So how quickly can you get to 50 offices? And keep it in mind, that's residual. There's nobody telling you when you have to work, how you have to work, or whatever. You're not on any clock. Plan your marketing day, work an area like we just talked about, and hit both providers and employers. That's what I do. Make your marketing day count. Hit 30 stops before quitting. This is always a good marketing rule of thumb. Be positive, be confident. You are the expert. Don't worry about what you don't know. Just worry about getting in front of somebody and making a positive impression with them, and let everything else happen. You are the expert. Nobody else knows better than you. So you don't have to really worry about screwing up. Don't be afraid to go after the big deals. Hospitals can be very profitable. Get yourself a hospital account nailed down. They're good to go after. Hospitals can start seeing a return on collections, gain up to 14% cash flow rather than losing 30% to a collection company. That's a very, very good buzz for you to think about. How would you like to increase your cash flow by about 14%, and all the stuff that you're sending to collections and you're giving up 30%, why don't you let us take that over? Let us work with your patients. We'll set the payment amount. We'll work them so that you don't have to give up 30%, and we'll even add 14 or 15% on top of that. And we'll put that right into your account. So that is a huge turnaround for hospitals, in any medical practice, Follow up on every account, set up questions, set up a 3 to 6 month follow-up, check in with the office manager, calling on employers, ask for the HR person. That is who you need to meet with. From there, they may not have a benefits person. It just might be the HR person. So if you're talking to an HR person and they don't have a benefits person, that's probably who you're going to end up working with. If you talk to an HR person, you can ask them, who's handling your benefits and who's in charge of all your benefits for your employees. It might be a benefits person, or it might be the HR person. Always send a thank you or a thank you card. This is always a great idea. It's a good marketing technique that really leaves a positive impression. Remember, you can always call us for help. Any employee can have multiple accounts. Let's go through this just for example. This month they attend an eye care specialist. They spend $500. 2 months later, they need to go to the hospital for whacked out knee, whatever happened to them. They spend $1,500 and end up with 2 different accounts. Unless at the hospital where treatments can be grouped, or a provider that knows where their treatments are brought together. Example, chiropractor would be a good example with several treatments or therapists. So in other words, if you go to a chiropractor and he says, hey, I need to see you for the next 2 months, that can all be bulked into one claim and just one monthly payment. If you have different provider type treatments, then you will end up with different payments on those different situations. But you can have 3 or 4 actually, to be technical. When the provider sets up an account, they will need verification, driver's license, and bank information. That's what they need from the employee. You may practice with our demo account. Here's something that's really important. Down below, you'll want to make a note. Put it on your file in your system someplace to go to www.demodoctor.denefits.com. Again, demodoctor.denefits.com, and you can log in using my email, which is dancheadle@gmail.com, and then the password is 123456. This is an actual account that you can go in and you can pretend like you are the office manager setting up a patient, and you will actually be able to see how this all works out. And once you do this 2 or 3 times, set up different ones, it's okay. Once you go through these steps, you're going to realize, okay, now I've done it. Now I can tell the office manager what they can expect. Your back office, you'll want to make a note of this as well. If you go to www, you're going to go to partners.denefits.com. That is where you log into your back office always. So make a note of those things. That's really important. This is going to wrap up our presentation. And again, you can go back through this. You can watch it many times. Our office for help is 616-200-4992. There's the number. You've got my number there, my cell phone. You can call or text me anytime. If you got a question, get a hold of me. We're always here to help you. Glenn, my general partner, there's his number, 215-2805. That's his cell phone. You can text or Glenn anytime. We have weekly team calls. We don't do them every week, but we do them often. We will email everybody when there's a team call. You may want to write this number down and just keep it, again, in your planner, in your book someplace for team calls. That's the number. You're going to need a PIN to get in. It'll tell you to put the PIN in, and I believe you got to hit a # after that. Any questions, you can always email us. If it's a weekend and you're just sitting there at your computer and you're working and you're brainstorming and you all of a sudden, hey, I got a question, just email us, benefithelporg@gmail.com with any questions or any comments that you've got or anything that you're experiencing. If you've got a success story, we love to hear from it. We'd like to share that with the team. But here you go. Welcome to the team. This is going to end our presentation. We will have this posted on YouTube. We will send that link out to everybody. And again, welcome aboard and welcome on board.